The story of executioner Charles Henry Sanson. When we talk about the French Revolution, we think of a time of great change and many bloody executions. During that time, there was a man named Charles Henry Sanson, 1739 to 1806. He had an important job as France's high executioner. This meant he was in charge of carrying out death sentences, and he executed almost 3,000 people. These included some famous figures like King Louis XVI. Sanson came from a family that had performed executions for generations. The job of executioner wasn't liked by many people, and this affected Sanson too. At first, he didn't want to be an executioner. Instead, he wanted to be educated and pursued a career in medicine. Sadly, when the school he attended found that his father was an executioner, he was asked to leave. What's worse, his father became sick and needed Sanson to earn a living for his family. He ended up quitting his dream and following his family's custom.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Chickling.
And today we're going to be learning about a little bit of history, one of my favorite subjects. But this history or this story is kind of a bloody one because it's the story of executioner Charles Henry Sanson. Have you heard of him before?
No.
Okay, I haven't heard of him as well. But we're going to learn a little bit more about him. And we're going to go all the way to France this time to have a little small history lesson here. Okay? Shall we get started so we can learn about the article?
Yeah.
It says, when we talk about the French Revolution, we think of a time of great change and many bloody executions. Yeah, so if you're familiar with a little bit of French history, there's something called the French Revolution. And during this time, it was quite common to be killed and to be executed, okay? But let's take a look at some of these words first. An execution is the act of killing somebody, especially as a legal punishment. And these were popular ways of punishment in the past. We're very lucky we don't have that now because executions sometimes were public. And so that means a lot of people can go and attend and see other people getting punished. Getting their heads chopped off or maybe even hanged by the neck. So, yeah.
How would someone want to see that?
I don't know. Maybe people back then that was their entertainment. Maybe it was their way of entertainment. But yeah, it's not for the faint of heart because they were very bloody. Bloody here is an adjective and it means full of blood. So think about blood dripping everywhere and, red blood everywhere. Thinking about this right now just makes me really lightheaded. So let's take a look at a sample sentence. The detective arrived at a tragic and bloody crime scene.
OK, 所以 bloody 就是很血腥、血淋淋的意思。所以我们看电影啊，如果血腥的画面就是 bloody scene。比如说 the horror movie had a bloody scene that made many viewers cover their eyes. I always do that, but I still want to watch it.
Because you like thrillers, right? And you like these kind of movies.
Yeah. 所以呢，我们刚刚老师讲到的这个字 Tiffany 讲到的字 execution 它就是处死、处决的意思。所以当其实我们去谈论到法国大革命这个时代，就是会想到一个变革很巨大、很血腥的时代。
Next in the article says, during that time, there was a man named Charles Henry Sanson. So he was born on 1739 to 1806.
所以呢，其实我们今天要讲这个时候，法国大革命那个时候有一个人，他叫做夏尔亨利。I'm just gonna call him Henry.
That's easier.
Yeah, it's
Sanson.
对 ，Sanson 或 Sanson， 就是他是那时候有一个名叫 Sanson 的人哦。
Next it says, he had an important job as France's high executioner. Okay, so he must be really, really important to be even, being mentioned here. Here we see that he's a high executioner. Now, executioner, do you remember the word execution that we just learned a while ago? An executioner is basically a person that does this action. So if you notice the ER at the end, it kind of gives it away as to what his job is.
对，所以这一个呢 Sanson 他就是担任法国的首席刽子手这一个重要的职务哦。 executioner 就是刽子手，或者是去执行死刑的这个人。
That's a very
important
I don't
and
know.
bloody job.
I don't know if I would want this kind of job if given to me. But here it says, this meant he was in charge of carrying out death sentences, and he executed almost 3,000 people. Wow, that's a lot of blood on his hands. Yeah. When you're in charge of something, it just means you have control of or you have the responsibility for doing something. Like, for example, we can say she is in charge of hiring new employees. Or Joe is in charge of flipping the burgers. Yes, and we also see, we saw the phrase carry out. To carry out something means to do or complete something.Especially something that you have said or you would do or that you have been told to do. So like it's kind of like, keeping your promise basically.
所以 in charge of 就是去负责或管理，那么执行什么呢？我们英文可以说 carry out something。所以 execute 就是去处死或处决的意思哦。所以这一个 Sanson 呢，他负责执行死刑，他已经处死了将近3000多个人。
That's a lot of people considering like at that time. Next, the article says, these included some famous figures like King Louis the 16. Sorry, XVI is 16. Yeah, so these included some famous figures like King Louis the 16. Now, a figure here is a noun. It is a person of the type mentioned. So it's usually like a well-known or important person in their respected industry. So it can be like in the movie industry, music industry, it could even be in politics. For example, we can say, David is a well-known figure at the golf club. Or you can also say Maria is a leading figure for women's health awareness.
所以呢 figure 是人物哦，我们的文章中是指人物，不过也可以当数字的意思哦。比如说 to have a figure of 代表有多少的数字或数量。The report showed a figure of 20% increase in sales over the last quarter 代表有上升，我们这边指的 figure 是数字的意思，或者是什么人物嘛，就跟我们的文章一样。所以呢，我们的文章中呢，其中包含有著名的人物，就是有被这个 Sanson 处死的人，包含路易16国王。
Next, the article says, Sanson came from a family that had performed executions for generations. So he comes from a family of executioners, basically. Now, generation here, it can mean all the people who were born at about the same time. So you and your classmates, you guys are all from the same generation. It also, here in the article, it can mean to talk about like a single stage in the history of a family. So for example, let's say your great-grandparents to your grandparents to your parents to you. That means you went through like 3 kind of stages of family history. So that's 3 generations between you and your great-grandparents. Sorry. We also saw the word perform. Perform is a verb and it means to do something, such as like a piece of work, task, or duty. For example, we can say, Dr. Chang is ready to perform the heart transplant on his patient now.
所以呢，我们今天也在这边看到文法，我们先来看一下。今天的 Language and Focus 我们要讲到过去完成式。过去完成式呢，我们通常是拿来描述过去的时候呢发生了2个事件。先发生的事件呢，我们要用过去完成式，后面发生的事件用过去简单式就好了，这样子才能比较出哪一个先，哪一个后。比如说 When I finally arrived at the airport, the plane had already taken off. 那因为起飞这件事情呢是比较早发生的嘛，所以我们用的是过去完成式。那当你到达了这个机场的时候，这件事情是在飞机起飞之后发生的，所以我们用过去简单式。那么这样子的句型呢，我们经常会搭配 by the time， 代表到了什么的时候。比如说 By the time she finished her presentation, the audience had already left the conference room. 代表呢，他完成了这一个报告的时候，其实观众大部分都早就离开了的意思。但是如果你要表示呢，某一件事情在过去持续了一段时间，我们就常常使用 for 加上一段时间，或者是 since 加上过去时间来连用哦。比如说 Daniel had worked at the same company for over a decade before deciding to pursue a new career path. 就是 Daniel 呢，他在决定转换职业之前，已经在同一家公司工作超过了10年了。 那另外呢，我们刚刚有看到 perform 这个单字，它是执行的意思， generation 就是一代一世，所以这个 perform 啊，我们当动词来当表演也可以。那如果是表演，我们可以说 The play was performed to a packed audience, receiving a standing ovation at the end. 所以我们知道 Sanson 是来自于一个代代执行死刑的家庭， so that means maybe his father was doing the same job, did the same job as he.
Yeah, and like his grandfather or maybe like great-grandparents or something, they probably had the same job as well. So they come from a family of executioners. Like some people come from a family of doctors, right? It means like your parents or your great-grandparents, they've done this before. Okay, here in the article it says, the job of executioner wasn't liked by many people, and this affected Sanson too. Of course, this is not a very popular position to have. Like, who wants to be friends with, like, you know,
unless they're interested in
a legal killer, right? Yeah, so unfortunately, he probably did not have many friends. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I wonder how much they get paid.
I'm sure they probably get paid quite well, because if it's the country's, like, you're France's high executioner, I'm sure you get like a good pay at that time.
好酷哦，所以刽子手这个职业其实没有很受很多人的喜爱。那这件事情呢，也影响了 Sanson. In what way 呢？
Let's see. It says, at first, he didn't want to be an executioner. Instead, he wanted to be educated and pursued a career in medicine. Okay, yeah, he did like, you know, medicine and all that stuff, but he didn't want to like kill people. So here, let's take a look at some of the words first. Pursue just means to do something, to try to achieve. And you try to achieve something over a period of time. Like you can pursue music or pursue acting or even pursue a doctor's degree. Okay. Sanson wanted to be educated. And here, educated is an adjective, and it means to have a high standard of education or showing a high standard of education. For example, we can say, an educated woman in the past would know how to read, sew, and play a musical instrument.
所以 educated 这边是受过教育的意思。那 pursue 我们今天也其实蛮常讲到这个字的哦，它就是从事的意思。那比如说 she was educated in the finest schools, earning multiple degrees in her field. 那么被受过教育就是 be educated。所以比如说一个人如果是接受高等教育，你就可以说someone is highly educated. 所以呢，起初啊，这个 Sanson 他不是很想成为一个刽子手，相反的，他其实是想要读书，然后追求医学的事业。
Next, it says, sadly, when the school he attended found that his father was an executioner, he was asked to leave. Oh no. So he really has no way around it. Here we see the word attend. It's a verb and it means to go regularly to a place. For example, we can say, Sarah attends yoga class every Wednesday and Japanese every Friday.
所以呢 attend 就是有定期啦，或经常去上学校或学教堂啊都可以。那就是有出席参加，比如说你去参加一个会议 you can say you want to attend a meeting. 但是you have to attend a meeting. 比如说 he had to attend a meeting with the board of directors or directors this afternoon. 所以就是他读的那间学校，发现就是朋友可能学校就发现说这个 Sanson 的爸爸是刽子手，那他就被要求离开。So everybody really didn't like that job that much.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's kind of like you're really conflicted, right? Like, it's a good, maybe highly honorable thing to be asked by maybe the king of France. I don't know, to be that. But then it's not the most popular thing because one day they might be executing you. Oh. Gosh, what a twist of events. All right, let's continue reading. It says, what's worse, his father became sick and needed Sanson to earn a living for his family. Okay, well, it could have been the dad who, continued this, but what made things worse? So that's why we use the phrase here, what's worse. It's a phrase that means even worse. To introduce an extra piece of information which supports or emphasizes the point you're trying to make. So you're trying to show emphasis that, this is bad or this is not as good. Here, because his father became sick, Sanson needed to earn a living for his family. When you earn, or you can even use make here. So earn a living or make a living, it means to earn enough money to buy the things you need or to, have enough money to buy you the necessary things that you need for your house and stuff like that.
所以呢 what's worse 就是更糟的事。那 make a living or earn a living 就是去谋生的意思。但最糟糕的是什么呢？更糟糕的是他就不想要做这件事情了嘛。可是没办法，因为 Sanson 的爸爸生病了，他是需要 Sanson 来养家糊口的。
He ended up quitting his dream and following his family's custom. Okay, when you end up, it's a phrase that means to finally be in a particular place or situation. So he ended up, quitting his dream job. So when you quit, it's a verb. It means to stop doing something. For example, you can say, after years of smoking, I finally decided to quit for the sake of my health.
所以 end up doing something 或后面加一个形容词、介系词，代表说最后怎么样了。那么 quit 就是放弃或停止。比如说你去辞职好了，你就可以说 quit a job. She decided to quit her job and pursue her passion for photography full time. 所以最终 Sanson 还是放弃了自己的梦想，跟随了家族的传统。因为没有办法，他必须要帮家里的人赚钱哦。
He's just like any other normal family, I
True.
think. When a family is like, they're generations of something, they hope to kind of keep the tradition alive and to pass it down. So unfortunately, he had to follow this and he had to become that.
真的，所以呢，如果喜欢今天节目的话呢，不要忘记按赞追踪我们的 YouTube 频道跟 Facebook page， 也不要忘记开启小铃铛来掌握第一手的英文学习内容哦。But for now, I think we have a question.
Yeah, we have our For You chat. Here it says, can you think of any jobs today that people think are similar to an executioner? Why might people think this way about them?
The first thing that popped into my head is the vet.
Okay.
Because sometimes they have to perform like
they
euthanasia.
They have to put
like,
the animals down because maybe they're sick or something.
Yeah,
like unfortunately they have to.
安乐死. I don't know. Yeah,
this one's a tongue twister for me actually. Anesthesia?
Euthanize.
Euthanize.
Euthanasia.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sorry,
yeah.
even for native speakers, this is a tongue twister.
因为这个是 medical term. 对，我刚也在想我有讲错。
But for me, I'm thinking like maybe like literally a butcher. Like they have to literally cut up like, bits of meat and kill animals. But I think, this job is necessary because, there's still a lot of people who prefer to eat meat and they like to eat meat. I know a lot of the vegetarians and vegans might not like this, but yeah, unfortunately, it's a job that they have to do, right? In order to provide service.
And I think the pay is kind of high.
Yeah, because like,
not really a lot of people want to do that.
Yeah, so it's also kind of maybe a dying job as well. Another person that might be like an executioner, would it be like a CEO or maybe the HR department? I mean, like they don't literally kill people, but they do decide if you're employed or not, right? And, recently we had a lot of, recently the economy hasn't been really good. So a lot of companies had to make very difficult decisions like cut down on their jobs.
Okay.
So a lot of people became unemployed. And yeah, I guess like if you're unemployed and you don't have money in this day and age, it seems like you're going to die because everything costs money.
The only difference is that you don't get to see the blood. You don't see the blood, but
you feel it inside your heart.
Yeah.
Your wallet is bleeding.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got to spend a lot of money and prepare to maybe spend your savings if that happens to you.
Aww.
Yes, so anyway, so that's the story of Charles Henry Sanson. There's more to him, so don't forget we still have day 2, but that's all the time that we have for today. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Vocabulary Review. Bloody. The hike into the woods turned bloody when the boys were attacked by 2 bears. Figure. Former President Nelson Mandela is one of the most important figures in South Africa's history. Perform. The doctor needs to rest well tonight because she'll perform an operation on a patient tomorrow. Educated. My neighbor's kids are privately educated children. They go to a school that focuses a lot on arts and music. Attend. My grandpa never attended school, but he learned to read and write by himself. Quit. I have to quit drinking coffee at night. It affects my sleep.
智慧小补帖。
execution, generation, pursue.